والمرسلين وبعد. In Islam, when a person does something good or when they do something bad, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will potentially multiply the good deed or the sin based on a number of considerations. So for instance, we know that on Laylatul Qadr, when a person does something positive, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give that person the reward of doing that for over 1,000 months. So Allah multiplies the reward. In other circumstances, we learn when a person goes to the haram and does something wrong, it is graver in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than if a person does it in any other context. So something is seen worse or something is seen better depending on the time and the context. One instance where what we do can be multiplied, according to a hadith, is that person who is in the marketplace, that person who goes to the supermarket, the person who goes to the mall, the person who's surrounded by stores, and they say, La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu, lahul mulku wa lahul hamd, yuhyi wa yumit, wa huwa hayyul la yamut, biyadihi al-khayr, wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. When a person recites this, there is promise for such great reward that according to some narrations, it's not 1,000, it's 1,000 times 1,000. And if you want to have a conversation about the authenticity of the narration, we can have that afterwards. But the narration indicates the great amount of reward that a person will get. What I want to highlight here is not necessarily this particular deed, that if you're in the marketplace, you get such and such reward because you're reciting such and such thing. But what I want to highlight is the reasoning behind why a person is getting so much reward. Because if you think about it, when I'm in the masjid and I recite some words of adhkar or I do something good, I'm in the masjid. Obviously, I should get more reward. But if I'm in the marketplace, that's abghadul bilad. It is the most despised of places in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why do I get such a great amount of reward there, but when I'm here in the masjid, I don't get that same amount of reward? Why the difference? And the ulama, they explain that when someone does something in the midst, among heedlessness, ghafla, carelessness, when a person remembers Allah at that time, then whatever they do is so much more appreciated in the sight than if that person does it among people who are remembering Allah. So if we take an example, a person is in the midst of a marketplace. So much chatter, so much talk about the dunya, so much worldly aspirations. But this one person remembers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and recites this kalima, recites these words. That's so beloved in the sight of Allah because my slave among people who are negligent remembered me. And that is something we need to strive for, and something we will talk about more, where we remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during times where Allah is not remembered. And the opportunity for you and I to do that today is so much more available given how much people have turned away from Allah. Whether I'm at work, whether I'm outside, whether I'm at a vacation, whether I'm at the airport, all of these places are filled with these capitalistic aspirations, turning away from Allah, running towards the dunya. But when we remember Allah at these given moments, it's so much more appreciated. And that is something we all need to aspire towards. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the tawfiq to remember Him when nobody else remembers Him, and to keep our hearts alive when all hearts are dead, and make us among those who remember Him at times where we are aware as well as times where we are negligent. Subhanallah wa bihamdih, subhanakallahumma bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.